Scary stories for the rain.
Scariest thing that has happened to me. By u/appropriate-led 17. This happened to me around 3 years ago when I was 13. I honestly can't remember how long ago it had happened. The time was around 7:30 at night, and I was having a blast constructing a new Lego set in my bedroom alone. I had the doors locked, and I was alone. My bed is in the middle of my room, and I have a space on each side of it. I was sitting on the side farthest from the door. For some random reason, I always kept my Legos under my bed in this instance. I placed the pieces for the set down there. I needed to get more pieces for the set, so I look under my bed and reach for those pieces, but all of a sudden I just freeze. On the other side of my bed, there were feet, walking the length of my bed, back and forth, very slowly and quietly. I assumed it was my dad, but I remembered that he was at work. And they definitely didn't look like my dad's feet. And the feet then stopped and faced me. At this point, I'm shitting bricks and paralyzed in fear. I gathered up the courage and quickly got up and took a look and to my shock, nothing. I looked under my bed again and everything, but saw nothing. I run to my parents' room where my mother was giving my sister a pedicure. I just sit down and I don't mention anything. 30 seconds after I sit down, all of the power in the house goes out and the lights shut off. I didn't mention this to my parents for a couple of months, but they obviously brushed it off and didn't believe me. Something scary had happened to my sister as well. This happened when she was in our bathroom. For your information, our bathroom has a massive mirror in front of the shower. She said that she was getting undressed, and out of the corner of her eye, while looking down, she saw a man right behind her staring through the mirror. She let out a horrible scream, and once she turned around, there was nothing. I remember running up the stairs into the door to ask what was wrong, but she was just sobbing. To this day, nothing else has happened in my household. I hope nothing ever does. Creepy Bathroom Stalker by Divine Retribution 8. The story is told from the perspective of a man. This incident happened just a few hours earlier, and I'm typing this story currently at my workplace. I work in the garden area of a home improvement store. I don't work the cash registers, and my manager doesn't even let me water the flowers, so a lot of the time I have nothing to do. This results in me taking extremely long bathroom breaks where I just scroll on my phone. I know it sounds bad, but it's better than standing around trying to look busy. Today was the same as any other, with me wasting time in the bathroom. Nothing of interest happened until my work phone buzzed at the same time as the stall next to mine. This becomes important later. A few seconds later, I see that guy in the next stall with his hand stretched out to the ground with his palm facing up. At first I thought he had run out of toilet paper and was asking for mine. He just stayed silent for a long time, so I ignored him after that. Then he started moving that hand uncomfortably close to my leg, so I immediately scooted away and prepared to leave. Once the man noticed that, he hurriedly got out of the stall before I could leave. Another few seconds of silence. took a peek out of the gap in the stall door just to see what the hell he was doing. Just like a scene from a horror movie, our eyes connected. He was barely an inch away from the door, trying to peek inside. My blood ran cold. If you're wondering why I didn't immediately open the door to cuss the guy out, I really hate confrontation. I avoid it whenever possible, and I do my best to not draw attention to myself. I stood sideways by the door so he wouldn't be able to see me. And that's when the whispering started. I don't know what the first thing he said was, but it sounded like moaning. The next part was a bit more audible. He said something along the lines of wanting to see more of my unflushed toilet paper. I was disgusted. This guy was a complete creep, and I was alone in the bathroom with him. My heart was beating faster by the second. I knew I had to stay there until another person came into the bathroom. There was no way I was going to confront him alone. Probably a minute later, someone finally arrives, and I take this as my chance to wash my hands and get the hell out of there. Thankfully, the presence of the other person made the old man quit his creepy behavior. As I was about to leave, he blocked my path for a quick second before stepping aside. The weird thing was I don't even think he works at the store because he wasn't wearing any vest. My store is extremely lenient about uniform, but most workers at least wear a vest or something connected to the store. He just looked like a regular customer. But I'm certain I heard his phone dings echo in that bathroom. The phones have a signature ring to it, and it couldn't have been a coincidence. Either way, he only started creeping on me once the phone ring made it clear that I was an employee. The situation really creeped me out, and I've been totally unfocused at my work since then. I kept prowling the garden area to look for any old man wearing a similar outfit to that creep. I have an incredibly hard time distinguishing faces, so I probably wouldn't even recognize him even if I did see him. Creepy bathroom stalker. Let's not meet again. Banshee Lady by you/Carissabythesea. When my friend and I met the woman we now refer to as the Banshee, it was about 10 at night. We were walking back from a milk tea place, and we were maybe at mile 5 of the 6-mile total round trip. Almost home, we were taking a long stretch of sidewalk next to a wide road that is busy during the day, but almost empty at night. Little background. My hiking buddy and I sometimes go for long walks through the town at night, when we can't get out to trails during the day. It's dark, but our routes go through a fairly safe blend of residential and shopping areas. Usually we head to some sort of late-night restaurant or food truck. We walk, stop for food/drink, and then head back. We wear glowing vests, battery-powered, and reflective stuff to make sure traffic sees us because we've had some too close encounters with distracted drivers. We've also had a few encounters with strange people. She didn't start making strange noises at first. It was a long stretch of straight sidewalk, and we had seen her coming for a long time before she started that. No one else was walking along the road at this hour. There were plenty of street lights, and she'd appear under the lights, then disappear in some shadow of bushes and trees, and reappear under the lights. We were glowing in our vests in addition to the street lights, so she had to have seen us coming too. I figured she'd worked at one of those shops or restaurants nearby and was getting done with closing up. I figured she was trying to get home, just like we were. until she started making these random noises. The first sounds were like an odd hacking noise, like she was attempting to clear her throat and as noisily as possible. But this was just the warm-up. The sound changed to something like a cross between a crow cawing and a small dog's bark. Recounting it is hard, but the closest thing might be "Growl, growl." So we kept walking towards her, watching and listening, thinking perhaps she has a disability or some other issue. She looked decently dressed, and she walked steadily and deliberately, not like someone on drugs. If not for her noises, she seemed completely normal. And then she made these loud but low-pitched groaning sounds. Something like It had briefly made us making zombie movie references, joking a bit. But we speculated if she was maybe talking to somebody on earbuds and making an attempt at singing or something. But it got weirder as she added some higher-pitched screechy sounds, something like an old angry cockatoo might make. At this point, she's less than 2 blocks away, and she's rotating through these bizarre sounds with short pauses of silence between. She looked like someone's cute little grandma. She didn't look like anything you'd expect to see making those sounds. She's wearing an old-fashioned, thick shirt, a cardigan, and clunky-looking shoes, carrying a single cloth shopping bag. Her hair is a short, curly old lady perm. She looks normal. She sounds insane. She's getting closer. Her bizarre noises are getting more unsettling, and I realize I can't see what she's clutching in her other hand. The one that doesn't have the shopping bag. She looks harmless, but the sounds are too weird. My buddy looked at me and asked, "Time to cross?" Echoing my own thoughts. We didn't want a confrontation with this woman, so I nodded, but just before we step out into the road, the lady seemed to have the same idea. She suddenly veered off the sidewalk and went into the road, making a steady, diagonal line towards the other side. There was no traffic on the road at this point, so I wasn't worried. I relaxed a bit, continuing on. I figured she was avoiding us, just like we were trying to avoid her. But just as we started to pass her, she suddenly screamed and rushed at us from the middle of the road. Her mouth was wide open as she charged at us, just shrieking. We stepped quickly apart, and her abrupt rush took her right between us, just shriek-wailing that horrible sound. It sounded like I heard her throat. Banshee-like is the only word that I would have for it. We were several feet apart, both braced for her to come back and do something, but she veered again and went down the sidewalk that she was originally going on, and as she walked away, she just kept looking back at us and keeping up at short bursts of the shrieking banshee noise, stopping to take breaths as she goes further away from us. She starts caw barking at us again. We stood there for a while, just silently watching until she was a good long ways off down the sidewalk, with her very strange crow barks fading into the distance. I still have no idea what was wrong with her. Did our lights somehow trigger an episode? I hope she's okay. She seemed to know where she was going. But, Banshee Lady, let's not meet again. Hello there, YouTube. Stormy here. I hope you enjoyed tonight's story. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below what you liked about it. And if there are any more stories that you would like me to do, make sure to comment those down below as well, and I will be more than glad to check them out. Now, you folks have a wonderful night, and I hope to see you in the next video. If we all survive.